The official Play Overwatch website has just released an article about Efi Oladele, an 11-year-old Numbani child who was awarded a Genius Grant. Already, speculation is running wild that Efi will be the 24th character of Overwatch, but I can practically guarantee you with 99.99999% certainty that Efi will absolutely not be a playable character in Overwatch. And there's a very logical reason why I can assure this to you. It's quite simple. According to the article that is published on the Play Overwatch website, Efi is an 11-year-old girl. From the game design standpoint, killing children, 11-year-old children in a video game is a big deal. That sort of thing automatically raises a bunch of flags in those sort of like online rating systems. So if you have a game that has an 11-year-old kid getting killed left and right, then you might get stuck with a mature rating. And for a game like Overwatch that's marketed towards, kids and teens, that could be not a death sentence because Overwatch is really popular, but it will significantly cut into their sales because that will automatically mean if they get hit with like a mature rating that kids can't actually buy it without their parents' approval. So there's no way that's going to happen. And actually, if you go to Hearthstone, which is another game created by Blizzard, there are some minor characters. By minor, I mean younger than 18 years old. And when those characters die in the game, their voice lines make it clear that they're not actually dying, they're just retreating. For example, there's like a Squire card, and when you kill the Squire, he goes, "Run away," or something like that.
Run away!
And there's a new character that came out. I think his name is like Grim Street Goon or something. I don't know. But when you kill him, he says something along the lines of like, "Let's get out of here," or something.
I'm out of here!
Whereas everyone else in the game, when you kill them, they make a death noise. And Hearthstone is so separated from simulations. It's literally just a painting that someone did. It's a drawing that someone did of a character. But even though it's just a drawing of like a 12-year-old Squire, Blizzard still isn't willing to give that 12-year-old drawing of a kid a death noise because it screws up the rating system. So based on the fact that they're not going to do that for a card game, for letting a 12-year-old picture on a card die, they're certainly not going to do that in Overwatch, where it's much more simulated, much more, I don't want to say graphic because there's no blood or body parts flying around in Overwatch, but, there are headshots. There are like people getting blown up and thrown off cliffs, and there's absolutely no way whatsoever that Efi will be the 24th character of Overwatch. However, I think it is quite likely that Efi is somehow related to the 24th character of Overwatch. So in the article, it says that she's some sort of genius roboticist who makes robots and to help around the house. And there's actually a line in the article where it says like any hint about what you're going to do with your grant money, because she won the Genius Grant, quote unquote. And she says she has an idea, but she won't say what that is. I think a lot of people are going to assume she's going to build a robot kind of like Zenyatta or Bastion. However, I think that's not likely also. The reason being is that AIs are strictly controlled. It's kind of like a no-no area of technology. So I don't think anyone's going to permit an 11-year-old kid to create an AI. Also, let's keep in mind, AI is software, whereas being a roboticist, that tends to be a bit more towards the hardware side of thing. So building a robot is a very different thing from programming a robot. And it seems to be she's a bit more towards the hardware side of things and the software side of things. So here's my theory. I think this character isn't going to build a separate character. I think she's going to build a character that she is going to pilot, kind of like Diva, except remotely, because obviously you can't have an 11-year-old on the battlefield. So I think she's going to have a drone character. That's my personal theory. I don't have any actual evidence to support this. I'm sort of putting all this together based on what available evidence there is. So we've got Efi. And, it's possible they just took the time to create this character because she's involved in some other character's backstory. Like maybe, she invents a weapon and maybe someone steals the weapon. That's possible. Maybe she creates a robot and this robot is a character. That's also possible. Like maybe she does create an Omnic. However, I've always had the idea that a drone character would really fit in Overwatch because, drone technology is currently really strong. governments of the world use drones, and kids and hobbyists use drones as well. So drones are something that we're all very familiar with, remote controlled, like powerful robots. It definitely makes sense in this world. And if you take that one step further, let's look at this from Blizzard's perspective. Let's suppose that you're a bunch of people sitting around a desk and you're like, okay, let's have a drone character. Let's have a robot that's piloted by someone else. What would that person be? Now, normally in Overwatch, the characters of Overwatch are all badasses. You've got Soldier, who's a grizzled war veteran. You've got Reinhardt, who's this towering Hulk of a man. And then you've got Zarya, who's just, the world record holding in women's weightlifting. So you have all these super imposing, physically powerful characters. If you have a drone pilot, that really enables you to go towards a character that isn't quite so physically strong. Someone who's maybe very young, someone who's maybe very old, someone who might be perhaps physically disabled, like a paraplegic. So that's good for Overwatch because Blizzard really likes to have a diverse character roster, people who are from, different countries, different ages, different sexual orientations, different races. They've shown that they really, really want to have a diverse roster in their Overwatch team. So the appeal of a drone pilot is that it allows them to have a character that they wouldn't normally be able to put in the game. But drones change that. So my theory is that Efi is going to build a robot and pilot it remotely, kind of like what D.Va does. Now, I could be wrong. This is just wild speculation. Like I said, maybe she makes a gun that someone steals. We don't know that. But that's just my personal theory. However, speculation or no speculation, it is a bit odd that the game doesn't have any Black or African characters at all at the moment, especially with a roster of 24 characters. I mean, Overwatch is a game that sort of prides itself on having an extremely diverse roster. But at the moment, the absence of Black people, either African American or actually African, it's kind of striking. It's a little bit unusual. To be honest, I assumed the 22nd character that they were going to add was going to be a Black character. Then I thought the same thing for the 23rd character. And I sort of assumed the same thing for the 24th, even though I had been wrong twice before. But it just seems a little bit strange to me that Blizzard would go to such great lengths to have such a diverse roster, and they still don't have a Black character yet. That's just kind of unusual. So we are long overdue for a Black character or African character, and Efi might actually be that character. It's very possible. But, as I said at the beginning of this video, we're not going to see Efi on the battlefield. That I can be certain. That doesn't necessarily mean that Efi isn't the 24th. It just means that if she is the 24th, then she's going to have to be the 24th through someone else, like a drone or a robot that she controls. That actually, I think, is quite likely. But we're not going to see an 11-year-old African girl running around Numbani with a gun. That's just, I can promise you that's not going to happen. So in the meantime, we might as well go crazy with the speculation. I know that the rest of the internet is already going wild speculating about what this could mean with Efi, so I want to hear your thoughts. First off, let me know what your thoughts about the lore, about the actual article that Blizzard published. Clearly, they're doing something with robotics. The question is what? Do you think that we're going to have a robot character? Do you think that she's going to maybe design some sort of weapon or armor that someone else is going to use? Secondly, I want to know what your thoughts are about a drone character. I've had an idea for sort of a drone character in Overwatch for a while. I think it fits really well. What do you think? Do you think that that would be a great character to add in Overwatch? Not necessarily Efi. I mean, maybe they won't go that route like I assume that they will with Efi. Maybe they'll explore that idea in the future. But what are your thoughts on that? Would you like the idea of someone sort of communicating with their team through a communication link via their robot or their drone or whatever? And, the really cool thing about having a robot character is that you can go really crazy with the silhouette. I mean, everyone in Overwatch is a bipedal, a human, 2 legs, 2 arms, and a weapon. But keep in mind that with Efi, if she's designing a drone, they could have that drone be whatever shape they want. It could be shaped like a tiger, like an African lion, or a gazelle, would it be cool to pilot a lion with rocket launchers on its back that runs around and jumps on people and claws them? That would be super, super cool. And you can do that with a drone or with robots because you're not restricted to the human silhouette. It could be an elephant, it could be a rhino. There's a ton of really cool African imagery that they could pull from, based on, having obviously a Numbani based character. So, it could even transform if you want to get really crazy, transform and roll out. Maybe you could transform from a lion to a gazelle or a cheetah or whatever. That's totally viable. It's definitely an option. And I really hope that Blizzard pulls out all the stops with this. I mean, obviously it's nice to have a lot of human characters because it's easy to connect with humans, but having non-human characters is really cool. It's super unique. Bastion, Zenyatta, Winston, and to a lesser degree, Genji, they're all just really unique, really iconic characters. So it'd be super cool if you had, an 11-year-old girl piloting a remote-controlled robot lion that's running around clawing people up and shooting rockets out of its mouth or whatever. That's awesome. That'd be a super cool character. So I'm hoping that they, don't just have, I don't know, some guy with a gun, because that's going to be probably 90% of all future Overwatch new characters are just going to be dude with gun, girl with gun. So I'm hoping that if they're going to go the robot route, please think outside the box. Let's have a robot gorilla. We got a gorilla. Let's have a robot lion. Let's have a robot elephant. Let's have a robot cheetah. A robot hawk flying around the battlefield. That'd be super awesome. Please, Blizzard, please. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I would genuinely love to hear what you think about Efi and my drone idea and what you think the 24th character of Overwatch is going to be. So thanks for watching. Dabacabb out.